When working with a large group, it's pretty normal to invite them to form smaller groups, to have different discussions or take part in different activities. Sometimes you want those groups to remain the same, but most often you want people to mix it up, so they're working with different people and getting different perspectives as the day goes on. But saying find someone you haven't worked with yet is okay for the first couple of times. By the 10th time, it gets a little bit boring and repetitive. In this video, I'm going to share 3 creative facilitation techniques for forming small groups. So instead of just find someone new, there's a little bit of interest in how those small groups are formed. Hi, I'm Kerri Price. I'm the founder of the Facilitators Network, and I use the principles of deliberate generosity to make sure that no meeting or workshop is ever wasted. I've been facilitating for 20 odd years, and in that time I've led thousands of meetings, workshops and community conversations. Nowadays, I help other trainers and facilitators do that well too. Okay, so you're working with a large group and you want them to form smaller groups. 3 times already you've said find someone new, so how might you do it slightly different? Check out these 3 activities for forming small groups in slightly different ways. Activity 1 is called the hand you're dealt, and it uses good old-fashioned playing cards. I like to use the jumbo size so that they don't get lost, but you can use whatever playing cards you have. How it works is, as people arrive at the workshop, either hand them a card or make sure that they've got a card sitting at the table. Then, when it comes to forming small groups, give the instruction as to how you want the cards to be dealt. So for example, you might say, find a partner who has a card of a different suit to you, or find 4 other people who have the same coloured card as you, or if you're an even person, find someone with an odd card. Whatever the instruction is, their job is to form the group and form that hand. As you give different instructions throughout the day, they'll automatically be partnering up or forming small groups with different people. One of my most favourite instructions when I'm using this method is to make the best poker hand. This causes a little bit of organised chaos and is a great energizer before going into the small group discussion. Activity 2 is a simple game of paper, scissors, rock, high five. And I often use this when I know the energy is dropping in the room and I really need to lift the energy before going into a peer discussion. So how I set it up is I say something like, in a moment I'm going to invite you to find a partner and we're going to talk about XYZ. But before we do that, let's just raise the energy a little bit. The invitation is to jump up, find a partner, do a quick game of paper, scissors, rock, high five each other, and then find a new partner. Now I let that run for about 90 seconds, maybe a couple of minutes, and then I draw the game to a close. Whoever they're standing beside is the person they have the next discussion with. Activity 3 is called on the continuum. And this is most useful when you're wanting to be quite particular or deliberate around how the small group is formed. Perhaps you want people in a group all with a similar level of experience. Or perhaps you want vast and varying experience in the group. Perhaps you want groups where everyone in the group agrees about a particular idea or project. Or perhaps you want a group where there's varying perspectives. So how this works is, first of all, you invite people to imagine that there is a continuum running through the room. And it might be, let's say, based on how much experience they have in this particular sector. At one end of the continuum is, I have no experience at all, I'm brand new, I'm just an intern, I haven't been here that long. And at the other end of the continuum is, I have years, I have decades of experience, I've been in this sector my whole life. I invite people to stand up and make their way onto the continuum to represent the experience that they feel they have. And then, depending on how I want the groups to be made up, I can segment them accordingly. If I want the groups made up of similar levels of experience, I simply just divide the continuum into pieces. If I want mixed experience in every group, I invite them to number off. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then all the 1s go together, the 2s go together, and so on. That means you've got a variety of experience in every group. Of course, experience can just be one way that you use the continuum. Agreement is another, for and against an idea, for example. Of course, how you get people into groups is only part of the equation. In my next video, Large Group Facilitation Techniques, I share a bunch of other stuff you need to consider when working with large groups. Because let's face it, large groups are just a series of small groups waiting to happen. You can find the link to that video in the description below. I'll see you there.